Thanks for that one. I have a question about evictionism. How did you come to the conclusion of gentlest means necessary?
Well, you know, if you trespass on my lawn and I have a howitzer, would it be okay if I just shot you with it? No. I have to say to you, hey, Alex, do you realize you're on my lawn? If you say, oh, sorry, I didn't realize, you get off. I shouldn't shoot you at all. It's a, de minimis kind of a crime of trespass. On the other hand, if you say, well, I'm on your lawn and I'm going to stay on your lawn and too bad. And now I have a choice. I have a net that I can drop on you, or I have a rubber bullet that I could shoot you with, or I have a bullet that'll kill you. Well, I think I'm obligated to do the net or the rubber bullet or something like that, because if I do too much in terms of self-defense, it starts seeping over into offense. I mean, all you did was trespass and go like this to me, and that shouldn't be I shouldn't be able to kill you over that. On the other hand, if you come charging me with a knife, well, then all bets are off. So I think part and parcel of libertarian punishment theory or defense theory is you have to stop the crime in the gentlest manner possible. And look, Alex, you look like you're, I don't know, 20 years old or so. If you were 3 years old and you trespassed, it would be very, very different, because, a 3-year-old can't really do any harm. And, I should probably, just try to call the cops and get your parents to find out they have a missing kid. So I think it's a general statement of libertarian defense theory that you should stop the crime, but you shouldn't commit a crime yourself in the act of stopping the crime. And I think going over a board and killing somebody for a minor, stealing bubble gum from my grocery would be way over the top.
And we're also saying with a lot of Republicans that like to say they're libertarian. I'm sure you've seen people who are very pro-government, big government, say that they're libertarian. Obviously, that's a separate discussion entirely. But these people are saying, if the business mandates it, then we're good. But it's when the government mandates it that it's bad. Do you think it's a smart idea for businesses to be mandating masks or requiring masks for customers to come in and buy their products?
Well, that's a total entrepreneurial decision. I mean, if I were an entrepreneur, I would probably do it, because my assessment of the populace is that if I don't do it, people aren't going to come into my store. So as a businessman, I think it would be a good idea. And, there are some stupid libertarians who say, how dare they make me wear a mask in this store? And I say, hey, whose store is it? It's not your store, it's their store. And if some 17-year-old girl tells you, an adult, to wear a mask, you wear a bloody mask or don't go in there. It's similar with condominium associations. I was once at a libertarian gathering in a condo, and they were bitching and moaning, well, the condo makes us have the same colored drapes, and the condo makes us do this and forbids that. I say, hey, you agreed to be in the condo, shut up. It's part of the contract. If you agreed, you have, look, I used to play in an orchestra. I play the violin. I'm a hit violinist. If you have a neighbor you hate, you hire me to play near his house. Do you know what the orchestra conductor did with the woodwinds and the brass winds? He would tell them when to breathe. If a trumpet player breathed at the wrong time, the guy would hit the podium and say, you jerk, breathe when I tell you to breathe. Well, that's pretty pretty authoritarian, pretty draconian, but you agreed to be in the orchestra. So if you're in the orchestra, listen to the conductor.
Sure. So one question I've been wondering to myself, and I'm going to ask you, is what topic as libertarians do we need to write more on and research more on?
Huh. That's a vicious, nasty question. How dare you? No, I'm kidding, of course. I don't know. I just finished Defending the Undefendable 3. I sent it to the publisher. And I just finished my book on evictionism 2. I have 2 books on evictionism. And I also have a series on private property, privatized roads, privatized space, privatized, oceans and rivers. So I'm sort of at a crossroads. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I think what I'll do is I have a whole bunch of student papers. I'm going to try to get them in the referee journals and maybe do a few op-eds and just sort of whine about the general what do you call it, cancellation. Everybody's being canceled now for, I used the word Oriental, and some student complained, and now the provost at my university is on my case. You allowed to use the word Oriental, and you're not supposed to say, what is it, colored people. You now have to say people of color. You're supposed to say black, and you're supposed to, what is it, capitalize black but not white. I mean, they keep changing things, and I'm probably right about that a little bit. So I'm not sure. I guess, maybe I'll do a little bit more in Austrian economics. Now that you make me think about this, I think what the next big thing I'm going to do is, I had this article that I'm very, very happy with. And the question that I try to address is, why, if libertarianism is so great, are there so few libertarians? Why Ron Paul is magnificent. I mean, he doesn't walk on water. He runs on water. He floats above water. He's magnificent. And he runs for president and he gets 1% of the vote. And why isn't Rand Paul president? Well, Rand Paul's got a shot, but why there's so few libertarians? And my answer was sociobiology, and I had 2 co-authors on this. And the idea was that we're hardwired toward benevolence. If you see somebody choking, you're going to go grab them and give them a Heimlich maneuver. You see somebody lying around, you'll call an ambulance. We're hardwired to be nice, to be benevolent. But we're not hardwired for free enterprise, because 1 million years ago, this is sociobiology, we had no benefit in having markets, because we lived in a group of 25 people, and who traded. It was like a family. So I think the next big thing I'm going to do is explore what sociobiology has to say about violence. I mean, we have murderers, we have rapists, we have wars all over the place, and try to figure out, why are we hardwired for such nastiness? I don't know. I look at people like Mao and Hitler and Stalin, who killed millions and millions of people. And the way I try to comfort myself, because they are fellow human beings, they had 2 eyes and 2 noses, no, 1 nose, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 feet, they're in the same species as us, and look at how vicious they are. And I try to say, well, maybe we needed viciousness to survive the saber-toothed lion or the tiger or something like that. And which would I rather have? A world where you have wonderful people like Mozart and Murray Rothbard, and Stalin and Hitler and Mao? Or would I rather have no people at all, and we die because we weren't nasty enough to fight off the bears and the wolves and animals like that? And obviously, I'll take what we have now rather than having no people at all. So that might be my next project, to start thinking and writing about that.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll ask one more, then give it back to Alexander. So, what would your advice be to anyone just getting into libertarianism, and what would your advice be on how to spread it?
Well, my advice, if you're just getting into libertarianism, is stay in the closet. Like, if you're going to college and you spout off about libertarianism, they'll fail you, and they'll say that you're offensive, or you're a fascist, or you're a racist, or God knows what they'll say. So I would say keep cool on that. And if you're just starting out as a professor and you don't have tenure yet, stay in the closet. Go write about something less high-strung, or less dangerous to write about. When you get tenure, I have tenure now, and still you can be in danger, but a lot less. So I would say chill out, stay in the closet. The gays, for many years, they had to stay in the closet, because if you were outed, they would beat you up, or they would fire you, or bad things would happen. Happily now, gays can stay out of the closet and they can live decent lives. Then the question, well, how best to spread libertarianism? Well, one way is what we're doing right now. We're talking about it. But my take on this spread of libertarianism is, I ask, who are the 2 most successful people in spreading libertarianism? And my answer is Ayn Rand for my generation and Ron Paul for your generation. And then I asked, well, what were they like? And they were just about opposites in demeanor. I mean, Ron Paul is a sweetie pie. I mean, you sort of feel he's going to hug you in the next second. I mean, remember his thing, revolution, and he had LOVE in there? That's Ron Paul. He's a lovely, lovely sweetie pie guy. Ayn Rand, you call her a sweetie pie, she'll smack you in the face. She was not a sweetie pie. She was nasty, but she was very successful. So, and I would say Milton Friedman probably was the third most successful in converting people to libertarianism. And he also had a very different demeanor and much more scholarly statistics and this and that and the other. So what I get from this is there's no one right way to spread libertarianism. Because the 2 or 3 most successful people were almost opposites of each other. So my advice is, you know, I am a co-author with Bill Barnett a lot, and one time we had 3 or 4 articles in the hopper, and he said, well, which one should I work on next? And I said, whichever is the most fun. Unless we have a deadline from a project, do what's the most fun. So if you want to promote libertarianism, do it the way is the most fun for you. If it's writing, if it's giving a speech, if it's doing a blog like you're now doing, whatever it is, enjoy, because liberty, the promotion of liberty should be fun. And if it's not, you're going to burn out, and I don't want people to burn out. So my advice on how to spread liberty is to just do what's the most fun.
Did you enjoy these clips? Want to hear the rest of the episode? Click the links below to listen to the full episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other popular streaming apps. Remember to support us. You can do this by checking out our Instagram pages at YIP Institute and at Watch Verbum. You can also look at our website at www.yipinstitute.com. Make sure to follow our page as we upload weekly. Have a good day.